Yo, what's cracking, baby? Guess what time it is? It's time to recharge the Foxbody 50 Mustang. That's right. All right, guys, so stick around, hit that like button, hit that sub button, check out the other videos. Greatly appreciate your support. Doesn't cost you anything. Hit that like button for me, baby. All right, guys, what you're gonna do is you're gonna locate your compressor. This is gonna be the clutch fan right here. All right, that has to spin and engage to be able to load up your refrigerant, okay? The only problem is if you don't have any in your system, it won't turn on. So now you have to jumper the system with the paper clip. The magical tool paper clip is going to go into your pressure switch in a Mustang. That's the location of it. Now this right here is going to be the low side, okay? You can't mess this up. This will not fit on this one. It will only fit on this side. Trying to do this one arm. So basically, I don't know if it's going to show anything here. Well, it says it's high sitting, but when I start it up, it'll change. So what I'm going to do, I put some in it last night. It was completely empty, and I did what, 20 ounces. And then the second bottle I have is going to be 12 ounces. So basically, these take this particular model somewhere between 28 to 32, and then about I don't know, 4 ounces of oil. But these have oil in it, and you know it's got a stop seal, stop leak, all that good stuff. You know, in my opinion, you can always have it sucked out, you know, vacuumed out, redo something again, and don't let that touch anything. You may want to use a rubber wire, but that's a paper clip. Making sure that's going to stay running. So now we got it hooked up. Just double check my connection. Gonna squeeze it, turn it. Every time you squeeze it, it drops the PSI, and then it comes back up. Now the bottle's gonna get really cold. You may wanna wear gloves if that's gonna bother you. After 10 seconds, they say. Check it again. Almost done. Clip is still in. Keeps that running. So it's able to take in the oil. So now that the clip is out, it's holding right here. It hasn't cut off or cycled yet, but it's still running. So we'll recheck it here. See if it does change. I'm gonna cut off the AC system. All right, so here's the current situation. After another day, I came back out here just to check the pressure, see where it was when it was off. And apparently there was none in there. So what had happened is this guy, the Schrader valve here, had given it up. So it was leaking out of that valve. So we replaced it. This one's, longer than that one. I don't think that's going to cause an issue as far as height or anything. But it's a little bit longer. So we bought this kit from the auto parts store. And instead of blue and red, it's got black on there, but they still look the same. Like here's the blue one. It's got the long lines on it. And then the red one's going to have that look to it. So it has replacements for those. So we replaced it, and then we were completely out. So what I did was, instead of buying the big cans again, because those are very expensive, I wanted to see if the pressure would hold. So I decided to buy some smaller cans, and I put 2 of these in there because we had nothing in there. So now I'm going to, this is the following day since I did it last night. The paper clip is out, and it was running fine. Clutch was engaged and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do is that we're going to hook it up. We're going to see if it has pressure, and then we're going to run the AC, see what the pressures look like, because basically those cans, those big AC probe cans, were gone. So I'm assuming oil and everything's probably still stayed in there. I don't think the oil came out. So we're just loaded up the Freon. Okay. All right, so here we go, pressure check. Now what I like about this particular one on the AC probe is that the push-on connector is really easy to use. You literally just push it on. And you can do it with one arm. You don't have to pull the tab and push to slide it on, but you do have to pull it, and as you're taking it off, just lift up on it. But pushing it on is pretty slick. You can do this one arm, so I like that a lot. So here is the pressure test. Did we hold it? Yes. Yes, we did. So let's talk about what I did after that, because when I installed this, obviously the line was exposed for just a brief moment before when I put this other adapter on there. Everybody's going to be kicking and screaming, oh, you got to go vacuum it, blah, blah, blah. I understand all that. But I'm just shady tree mechanicking this right here, and we're just going to see what happens. I'm just trying shit, right? So what I did was, after I put that on, I loaded it up with those 2 cans that I just showed you, the smaller cans. And the pressure, when it was off, when I turned it off, was a little higher, right? And I read a few places that once you open the line, and add the Freon and stuff like that, that the air can be trapped in the compressor or near the top and everything on the line. So what I did was I ran it to move the air wherever, and if it did trap, it trapped, right? So I cycled it a few times, and then I took this, put a towel over it, used the glove, and then we squeezed it a little bit, right? And the towel helped to control the coldness coming out. So we purged it, right? And I would imagine that helped to push the air out on the side. Now, I'm not saying that everybody do this. I'm just telling you what worked for me, right? So we did that, and that's just the current situation, right? So that's just the current situation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crank the car up. This is gonna be just a cold start the next day. It held the pressure. Again, the other Schrader valve did not hold the pressure. It was done. So it's just time for it to go. It was leaking, so I went and bought the parts. So, all right, so we're gonna turn it on and we're gonna check the pressures and see where it's at. All right, so. All right, so we're letting the car warm up for just a couple of minutes here. Obviously the pressure of this right here stays the same because I haven't touched it, right? So paper clip is out. So that's back to normal there. So I'm going to turn the AC on. This is going to spin, and we're going to see where the pressure is on this guy. All right, here we go. Time of truth. Let's turn it on full blast. There we go. I can hear the electric fan kick on. Let's go see. So the clutch is working. And oh, nice. There we go. So this is where it's hovering at, around 30. I had it around 40 when I purged it. Remember using the glove and purging it. So we're back inside and it is super cold. Pretty happy with that. It's real cold. So around 30 could be the magic number for this one, I don't know. But I'm going to cut the car off and we're going to see the pressure again. And I'm just going to cycle it for a couple of times. So I cut the AC off and that's where the pressure is now. So it was right at the S and C instructions. Actually, you know, when I did purge the system, it was off. Actually, I remember now, so I don't want to mislead you. So it was off. The red was more to the T. And in instructions, the T and the I, and I purged it to the S when it was off. So now we're going to cut the system back on and see where it's at. So cut it on. This is where it's going. That looks pretty good to me. So we just cut it off. And it's back to the S. So that seems pretty consistent as far as where it's holding. Again, so I did have to replace that straighter valve or the hookup. But it seems to be working pretty good now. Holding pressure. I let it sit overnight, and again on the Foxbody, let's just kind of recap a little bit. This is your pressure switch, and pull this out, and that's what you put the paper clip or wire in, right? Either way. So that you have to jump to be able to make this clutch turn, to be able to suck in the first bit of Freon, all that. So it will not spin unless the wire's tripped. The pressure switch makes it impossible to once it's out of Freon and everything is what I'm saying. It will not open, so you have to manually purge it or, you know, bypass it. So once you get the first can in, you could probably put the switch back. It's probably safer to do that instead of putting all of it in there, because the switch is going to help control everything, and you can gradually add it in there. So I would recommend after the first can, when you're trying this, to put the switch back in, because the last thing you want to do is keep putting stuff in there and you're not really sure where you're at and you're not checking your gauge and everything. So I would put the paper clip to the side, put the switch back in, and you know what? Here's my thought on purchasing, you know, those big cans of this stuff and everything, because, you know, we bought the big one of that. It came with this, and then we bought this one, and then all of it leaked out, right? So it may be better to use a half a can, 1 can, whatever. Let the pressure sit overnight. Hook this thing up to it. See where you're at, you know. See if it leaks down. Check your Schrader valves. And then once you determine that your hookups are good, it doesn't leak, it'll save you a little bit of money, because you'll at least have half a can of, you know, different refrigerants or whatever you've got. All right, so we did start with this stuff. Leaked out. Apparently it's got seal stop, still leak, whatever. Couldn't help my fitting, but the oil and whatever else is still in the system. So all I did was add the 2 cans of this. I put 2 of those in there. Those are 12 ounce each, so it's 24. So I'm below, you know, what this system can hold. This system can hold anywhere from 28 to 32, and then the oil. So I'm on the low side. But to be honest with you, when I was checking this earlier, when it was at the 30 here, I mean, it's really cold in the cab. Okay, really cold. Even when it was at 40. It wasn't as cold, because I think, you know, as far as the system had air in it or whatever. So listen, what I did may not be for you, right? This is just what I did. I'm just letting you know what I did. So after I put this in, I turned the car off, hooked this up, right? And then I used a glove and a towel here and purged the system a little bit. Squeeze this a couple times, let the air out, and it seems to have, because I was reading it at some different places, that some air pocket or something happens here at the compressor. So by you doing that, purges the system, the pressure comes out, forces the air out, and right now I feel like it worked because it's damn cold in the car. So and I just gave it a couple squeezes. You know, you want to get a glove. You want to be safe about what you're doing and trying. You know, I just got a glove, folded the towel over, and just kind of washed it. Gave a couple squirts in it, and it dropped down from the CTIO is where it was at in instructions. And I dropped it down below. Now this is not hooked up. This is what's left in there right now. So if I squeeze it, you know, it will come out. I'll face it to the, so see, it came out. So again, may not be for everybody, but that's just what I did. So right now it works. I'll do an update on this as far as how long my system charged or held the charge, or how it's doing, all that good stuff. But I'm just letting you know exactly what I did there. I had to replace that. All of these, that 20 ounce can and this one right here, I came back out to check the pressure, and this is what I did. You know, I mean, it's really easy. You just stick it on here, you know, because right now, you see where, you know, it does that. But you just click it on, and watch. See, it pops up. So I just came out here the next morning and it held, right? The other one did not. So that's how I knew it was and it was leaking right. I could see it and kind of hear it fizzing a little bit last night when I was looking. I was just wondering how fast it would leak out, and that's what we did. So that's just what I did. So, all right, guys, listen, I appreciate you watching here, hanging tight, fast forward and all that good stuff. I know I can ramble on a few things, but if you would, man, hit that like button for me, brother. Hit that sub button. I'll do an update on the AC system on this. And right now it's pumping cold. I'm happy, and we'll see how long it lasts. I'll give an update. And yeah, good luck.